Hey everybody, started work on the front fender. This was kind of dented in. Remember I showed you in the last video some Bondo all over here and up through here. Well, I got it a lot smoother, and this was really caved in. But there's no way to get to it because there's a big brace behind it. So I drilled a hole through the the brace and pounded it out, and I got it a lot smoother. I mean, the whole thing's a lot smoother than it was. But it's a little dippy in here still because there's a brace back there. I'll have to drill another hole to get to it. And then this one up here. But overall, I put a straight edge across there. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it with my below average skills. Now this part, I told you before there was a little bit of rust on it. Well, someone had put a piece of metal from the back side and just welded it to where the hole was instead of cutting it out and welding it in. Well, they didn't get all the way over to where this seam goes around, so there was holes on the back side of that and they couldn't get to it, and they just booger welded it all up. So now I'm going to cut this out, peel it back, see if there's any, because there's some rust right there. See if it goes back any further. I might have to cut, especially down in here. I don't know. I can get to that all right from backside, so I'll be able to figure it out. But nice square panel. It shouldn't be too bad. I do have another set of fenders. They're kind of junk, but they got good pieces on them. So I'm gonna have to dig one of them out and see if maybe if this piece is good in that, and I can cut this out of the other fender. Here I got the piece that was all rusted out, cut out. Here it is. You can see it's there, and the back side looks pretty bad. This inner support was all rusted out, so I just cut it. But I have the one from my spare fender. It's got a little bit of rust on it, so I might have to do a little bit of repair on it, but it's a little bit better than this one. But I think I got my new panel lined up pretty good. So I'm just going to tack it in a couple spots. I don't want to get too many. And then I'll get that back piece from the other fender fitted onto here and make sure it all fits right before I proceed too much further. And then I can kind of, because I know I got the bottom part just a touch long on purpose, and I'll trim it. But then I can kind of lay this one up here after I tack it and make sure it kind of follows the same, sorry about that, same contour as that same contour as that. There, you got the patch all welded in. The brace from the other fender was wasn't as nice as I was hoping, and I ended up having to weld some, cut the rust out on that and weld some little patches in it. But it was still better than the little brace on the back side of this one. And then I worked a little bit on this dent I said I had up here. I'm getting it pretty good now. It was really bad up in here, but I told you I couldn't get through to from the bracing on the back side. Well, I drilled the hole in the back of the bracing and stuck a drift punch up through there and whacked it with a hammer and got most of it out. I mean, this thing is a lot better than it was. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think it'll hurt. So there's the, after I got all the dents out and a little filler on there, didn't take hardly a whole lot. I gotta go back and do the rest of the fender. These are little spots where I welded. I have to redo them a little bit, but this is the patch panel where I welded in. It's like a little spot that I need to redo, but and I have the original rocker molding that goes across here, so I need these holes. I said in a previous video I was going to weld them up, but I ended up needing them. So this fender's not looking too bad. Got most of the paint sanded off of it. That done. It's not looking too bad. This side, just a minor surface rust, nothing wrong with it. And then I go over to the passenger side fender. What a mess. This is the fender I thought was the best. It's pretty rough. It doesn't look like it, but it must have been hit up in here, and it buckled it up in here, and there's a dent in here, and this is all bowed out, and it's got low spot, high spot, low spot, like a crease across there. It's low in here. With my limited ability, this is going to be challenging. It's also must have been smucked up pretty good in through here too. It's all lumpy and bumpy. You can see right across here there's some, I don't know what happened to this thing. So I got most of the paint ground off of it, and I have been working on it a little bit. I did get this a lot better. So it was really bad. And I worked on a little bit of dents there. There is some, I don't know what the heck these two holes. This one looks like a rust hole, but this one there, I don't know. So cut that out and weld the piece in there. But the rest of it's pretty good. I don't think I have much problem with that. Like on the other fender, this had a lot more rust in it. This one looks pretty solid other than two little spots. But once I cut them out, you never know what you're gonna find. But I'd be happy fixing that versus that. What a mess. And it ain't like you can just go find 66 Comet fenders at the local junkyard, or so I'd really like another one. I've seen some used ones on eBay, but man, they are expensive. And then they charge you all kinds of money to ship them and stuff. So I cut out that little spot that had two little holes in it, and there's the two little holes. One looks like a screw hole, this one. And the other one's definitely a little rust hole. So I cut my hole in there, and I just traced it out onto this piece of metal here, and I'm going to cut it out. And put the new piece right in here and weld it in. I'm going to figure out the best place to place my magnets to hold it in there. I can't get to it from the other side because the brace is on the back. So I'll hold it in with two magnets. Get my gap set around it a little bit. No fitsies. He would have had this done by now. Fitzy's a guy I follow on YouTube. Fitzy's Fabrications, I think this is the channel. He's a Canadian, eh? He likes to add S's to everything. Not looking too bad. Got a little bit of a gap on the bottom, a little harder to weld, but we can manage. Still want to weld too much all at once. Don't want it to warp. I have to find my air gun and blow it off, I guess. All welded in. Looks like poop, but as Fitzy says, as long as you got good penetration, you're gonna grind off all that crap anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I'm sure I missed a couple little pinholes here and there. I'll have to fill them later. Go back over it. There, I got it all welded in. Only had to weld in a couple little spots that needed to go back over. Then while I was at it, I had the welder out. I also welded up all the trim hole on it. There was another piece of trim, little thing that went there. And I also welded up the antenna hole on it, so we'll have no exterior antenna. I'll just mount one. They got them that go under the dash or something nowadays, so it's a new invention. So that's my progress on the fenders. This one's not looking too bad. See, I got all them welded up. Still need to do a little body work on them. This fender's turned out pretty good. I don't really have a whole lot more to do to it. I mean, the major stuff. I mean, of course, I'm gonna have hours of stripping some of the old paint off of it yet and getting it ready for some primer, or epoxy sealer, I should say. So this turned out good. Didn't take hardly anything to, see, I gotta finish it up a little bit. Didn't hardly take anything to get it smoothed back out. But the one I was just welding on, like I said earlier, this fender is screwed up. I've been working on it, working on it, and working on it. Been getting it closer and closer and closer. But I'll tell everyone right now, she's gonna have a little bit of filler in it. Unless I can find another one. But it'll have definitely less filler than it had when I started. Because it was built all up and here, and it's messed up. Even So that's the progress and update on the fenders. I'm calling that a wrap for this one.